This is Accra, the capital and largest city of Ghana. The name Accra often refers to the territory of the Accra Metropolitan District as it existed before 2008, when it covered 199 square kilometers. This territory has since been split into 13 local government districts, 12 independent municipal districts, and the city of Accra, now 20 square kilometers, which is the only district within the capital to be granted city status. This territory of 20 square kilometers contained 2.6 million inhabitants at the 2021 census and serves as the capital of Ghana. The word Accra is derived from the Akan word Nkran, meaning ants, a reference to the numerous ant hills seen in the countryside of Accra. The name specifically means soldier ant and was applied to both the town and the people by the tree speakers. Accra is Ghana's economic and administrative hub and serves as the anchor of the larger Greater Accra metropolitan area, which is inhabited by 4 million people, making it the 13th largest metropolitan area in Africa. In 2020, the Globalization and World Cities Research Network think tank designated Accra as a Gamma-level global city, indicating a growing level of international influence and connectedness. I like Accra, even though it's basically surrounded by some of the largest slums in the country. More on these slums later. However, I still like Accra. The design of the city is whatever. Put a school next to a church or a market next to a court. It's your pick. Unusual placement of buildings like this in Accra is not so unusual. In fact, my house is next to a train station. On the surface, it looks like Accra wasn't even planned or designed as a city, but it was. In the years following World War II, the neighborhoods of Ridge and Cantonment were planned as low-density development for Europeans, while many rural migrants settled in neighborhoods such as Nima and surrounding areas, and that was the birth of some of the biggest slums in Ghana. The development of these neighborhoods was not regulated by the government, creating a crowded and shantytown landscape. Another area of Accra that took shape at this time was the Central Business District. All administrative buildings were built on high streets. Although satellite business districts such as the Airport City has been built across the city. Central Accra remains the administrative and cultural hub of Accra, hosting government institutions, hotels, financial institutions, and my favorite snacks. In 1944, Accra City planner then, Maxwell Fry, devised the town plan. Although the Fry plan was never followed through, it illustrated the British vision of how Accra should develop, which includes open space for restaurants, country clubs, and polo and cricket fields. Additionally, the British intended to build a large number of public squares, fountains, and ornamental pools and statues throughout the city, as well as a vast parliament complex in the city center. The Fry plan also included plans to make the coastal region an extension of the exclusive European neighborhood of Victoriaburg. However, the British Gold Coast ended before the Fry plan was enacted. When Kwame Nkrumah became Ghana's first prime minister in 1957, he created his own plan for Accra's development instead of creating spaces to serve the elite. Nkrumah sought to create spaces to inspire pride and nationalism in his people and people throughout Africa. Rather than building ornamental fountains and a large parliament complex, Nkrumah decided to build landmarks such as the Independence Square, the State House, and refurbishing the Christiansborg Castle, which was then the seat of government. Nkrumah decided to leave the coastal region undeveloped so as to not take attention from the Independence Square. The Nkrumah plan was not as detailed as the Fry plan did, whereas the British plan sought to lessen crowding in the commercial districts and help relieve overcrowding of the neighborhoods bordering Central Accra. The Nkrumah plan allowed for continued compression of commercial institutions into the Central Business Districts, as well as increased migration into Accra. The period between 1960 and 1970 saw rapid industrialization and expansion in Accra's manufacturing and commercial sectors. This contributed to high migration to the city. By the early 2000s, areas around Central Accra were already some of the biggest slums in the country, and they housed people living way under the poverty line. This is a map of Accra. This map shows the areas with most people living under the poverty line, and it's vast. Accra is a rapidly growing city with a lot of vehicles and an increasing amount of air pollution and plastic pollution. Accra's urban ecosystem has been a site of dumping by international waste networks, with the Agbogbloshie suburb known for its highly toxic e-waste recycling sites. Plastic management is also an increasing challenge. Use of plastic water bottles, water sachets, and other packaging. The beaches around Accra have significant plastic pollution, and surrounding fisheries are heavily impacted by plastics. Multiple non-profit organizations has been formed to collect the plastic, and an increasing growing network of recyclers. By far, the most common form of transport in Accra, trotro. Trotro are the second most efficient and cost-effective way of getting around the city. The buses are typically minibuses or vans. Some of the most popular models used are the Nissan Van and the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. Trotros are typically decorated with flags of various countries or soccer teams, popular sayings, proverbs, or Bible verses. Most rides start at stations like this and will also usually offload at undesignated locations along the routes by passenger request, of course. Football is the most popular sport in Accra. The most famous football club in the city is Accra Heart of Oak, whose main rivals are the Asante Kotoko of Kumasi. The Accra Sports Stadium is home to the Accra Heart of Oak and a host venue for the Black Stars, the national football team of Ghana. It hosted 9 matches in the 2008 African Cup of Nations. Accra is cool and all, but it means different things to different people. What it means to me, I see Accra as an overpriced, expensive place for the 1%, with barely any facilities to support any type of living here. Let's assume I want to take a piss and it's an emergency. Guess what? I ain't pissing. Unless I'm cool with pissing at the side of the road, I ain't pissing. It can be the best place to people who are more into the culture, the food, the nightlife, and the worst place ever if you don't got shit. Accra has become a cultural hub for people with African heritage to connect with their history, which is a good thing. But the influx of these tourists with dollars and euros to spend has made Accra one of the most expensive cities in Africa. Overall, Accra has a bright future. The city is home to the headquarters of the African Continental Free Trade Area and a number of large multinational companies, a thriving small business sector, and cultural attractions. With all these factors in place, Accra is well positioned to become a major economic and cultural hub in the region.